Hey there, Sart here. If you're like me, you probably went straight away as soon as maintenance was done. You probably went and checked out this new chamber, the Fighting Back Memories, and if you're like me, you were probably very disappointed when you clicked on it and you saw that all it is just some reruns of old trial battles. And if you did them when they came out, nope, sorry, you're not getting the rewards again. It's already complete. No rewards. And some of these were really nice. Like, hey, remember when we had 3,000 lapis battles? Remember that? Remember we used to get one of those like every week? Those were really nice. We get like 3k lapis and a master's crown. Man, those were good times. It's kind of a nice reminder of how it used to be. We haven't seen one of those in a while, and yeah, this is no different. Now, if you're a new player, this is a great chance to pick up a big heaping pile of lapis, because 4 out of the 5 of these, so there are 5 of these chambers, and the first 4 all have 3,000 lapis as the rewards for one of the missions. And so if you do the first 4 and you get those 3,000 lapis rewards, that's 12,000 lapis you can pick up right here. Very, very nice little boost if you got a new account. And these are not particularly difficult. They haven't buffed them for like the current meta, so they're still, you know, the same difficulty as they were when they first came out. So they're not particularly hard. They can be a little bit tricky if you've never done them before and you're not quite sure what to expect. And so I'm going to run through all of these with you guys. I do have old clear videos of all of these. I believe I have one of all of them. I might not have one for like Omega Spawn Rush and the Looming Wall. I can't remember, but I think I've got videos of them from back when they first came out. So feel free to search for my videos there, or you can just watch this one. I'm going to do them all for you right here, right now. Now, if you did clear all of these when they first came out, and you know you've got all the rewards already, they do have some new rewards, and they're in your quests. So if you go to your home page, you'll see in the quests, and you'll see these. So this is where you get like your log quartz and the dark matter, and if you clear each of the EXT battles, you do get 100 lapis for each one. Yay. You know, it doesn't feel quite as good as the 3,000 lapis we got when we first cleared them. I guess it was just too much to ask for me to reset the rewards on these, you know, but it is what it is. So, you know, 500 I guess is better than nothing. Still feels bad though, feels bad. So anyway, so yeah, that's where those rewards are. If you've already completed them, you can still pick up those rewards there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use one team to clear all of these, one sort of core team of 4 units, because 3 out of the 4, these 3 middle chambers all have clear with a party of 4 or less. And so, you know, I wanted to start with a core 4, and then on the last boss we'll add a 5th unit just for an imbue. But let's go ahead and we'll start at the top, the Omega Spawn Rush. And so yeah, you see there's those 3,000 lapis missions. Man, love it. All right, so this one is, so it basically ends with this beast. He's weak to fire and earth. That's great. A lot of these bosses are weak to fire, which is nice. So here's my core 4 team. So since a lot of these bosses are weak to fire, we are bringing Louise as our fire imbue, imperil, support unit, all that jazz. Bulwark is there because he provides imbues for a couple of other elements that we're going to need along the way, like wind for the demon wall, and then dark for the Calamity. Behold the Calamity, the behemoth. That's the 4th chamber. So he'll provide our imbues for those. And then on the final one against Dark Rain, we need a light imbuer. So I'll use that 5th slot on our final battle to slot in a 7-star Sylvie, who will be our budget light imbue imperil amp unit for that fight. But otherwise, we're using this core 4 team. The only thing that's going to change is swapping the Esper on our EXDeath. EXDeath is going to carry all of these fights with Meteor. You know, I decided to choose EXDeath on this one because he's sort of like the new hotness, and people have probably picked him up, especially like newer players who have just done the Final Fantasy V event. You might have picked him up in some of his shards. Before I get started with anything though, I want to just make sure that you awaken your meteor to +2 so that it becomes the the powerhouse that it is, where it consumes all of the MP and does a MP times 100 modifier boost, right? So you want to make sure you've upgraded his meteor, and also make sure you've enhanced his abilities, because he gets a lot of static mag if you enhance especially this one, Wicked Magic. So make sure you've enhanced this one all the way to level 5 to get that 2000 static mag on your EXDeath. All right. Otherwise, the gear I'm using here is very budget. Jester's Claymore is the free sword you get from Item World right now, and you can upgrade it to a 190 two-handed sword. You see I ran it through Item World and just put nothing but MP on it, because EXDeath is very difficult to build for MP. Corundum Suit just for a high mag armor. Magic Circlet is a high mag budget helm. Heliolite for high mag accessory. You see I've got one piece of Magister's gear on there, the Magister's ring. That should be the first piece of Clash of Wills gear that you pick up, because it is very useful on pretty much all units. And if you don't have it, however, just slot in a high mag accessory in there, and then swap out innate talent and put in indestructible light, and that should still carry you through all of these. All right, so that is a perfectly viable swap for your EXDeath. I did choose EXDeath also because he has a lot of beast killer, and this first boss rush is has a beast as the final boss, so I figured that'd make him easy to gear. If you throw Ifrit on him, he gets capped on beast, 125 plant. Always look at the physical killers on EXDeath and Golbez and other Meteor users, because Meteor is a physical type damage, so it uses physical killers. All right, it's a physical type, but it's mag based, so it scales off the unit's mag score and goes against an enemy's spirit. But since it's a physical type, it can be imbued, uses physical killers, all that stuff. And so just keep that in mind when building your EXDeath. Louise doesn't need anything, just Obsidian Bracer for the preemptive undermine, which does the 80% full break to all enemies, and does an 80% fire imperil to all enemies, which will come in handy. Other than that, just gave her TMR. She can be EX0, doesn't need anything else, just an EX0 Louise, and you're fine. Biggs and Wedge, dual wielding with Aurora Scarf so that he quad casts his tag chaining normal attack. Other than that, just standard bulk, whatever you want to give him. He does need 100% dark resist at least. That is for the final battle against Dark Rain, just in case we don't push 50%. The 50% threshold on turn 1, he will need to cover some dark, some AoE dark magic damage, and so having 100% dark resist will make sure he takes no damage. Bulwark doesn't really need anything special. He just needs to be passive provoke. Again, that is for specifically the final stage against Dark Rain, so that he takes the single target Dark Imperil instead of Biggs and Wedge, so that way when Biggs and Wedge covers, they are completely immune to the dark damage. All right, but yeah, you see I've given him Dark Breaker as well. That comes in handy in the Fort Vorn battle, but it's not necessary, so don't sweat it too much if you don't have one of the breaker materials. You can use any breaker material, by the way. It can be any of them. Dark Breaker, Light Breaker, Earth Breaker, Numbing Thunderbind. All right, just one of the ones that does the 85% full break, but it's absolutely not required, so if you don't have it, don't stress out too much. All right, the rest of his gear is irrelevant. I do like putting Call of the Wild on him, because that helps fill up his LB for turn 1, because some of his abilities, like his killers, require using his LB gauge, so that's helpful for that. Otherwise, you see Danger gets the blood pumping, Moogle Charm, and Tulian's Gauntlet for full 100% passive provoke, and he's got that in both forms. The rest of the gear is pretty much irrelevant. All right, and that's our core 4. Like I said, on the final battle, we're going to bring in Sylvie for the light imbue, and that's it. So let's get in here and let's get this done. All right, so a lot of this is going to be pretty repetitive. So once you kind of learn, how to do it the first time, it's going to be pretty repetitive. So Louise will do Firestarter. Diverse Arsenal does a 50% Omni Killer. All right, so that's nice. And then Power Boost and Heavy Firepower for the amps. All right, So, and it doesn't really matter who you target. You can just go. Bulwark here is just going to do a Moogly mixtape for some buffs. Alright, EXDeath will do his Awakened Meteor, and Avalanche, Biggs, and Wedge just have to do a normal attack. Alright, now one of the reasons I like Bulwark with these Meteor users is because he does do a 100% MP fill for the whole party with Electric Ensemble. It's not required for these. You'll see there's no item mission, so you can totally bring a unit just to give him elixirs, just to like feed EXDeath elixirs every turn. That is totally fine. The only battle where you can't do that is against Dark Rain. Dark Rain has a no items mission, and so Bulwark will be handy in that one. But yeah, so you know, you don't have to worry about like finding a unit that can fill up your EXDeath or your Golbez, whoever you're bringing. Just give them an elixir and they'll be fine. But I'm going to use Bulwark anyways, just because I brought him, might as well use him. Actually on this one I'm going to do, since we've got a plant on the field, might as well do the plant killer with Oro Blanco's Overture. Alright, and then we're literally just going to reload and repeat. You can target the Succulent Omega for the higher fire in peril. But you can see that Obsidian Bracer gave everybody an 80% fire in peril, so that's nice. Alright, and then yeah, we're just going to Meteor and chain it up. Massive overkill. Alright, so we've got King Kong here, so we're just going to basically, we'll do the Electric Ensemble again, and then we'll just do another Moogly mixtape for the buffs. This time Louise is going to do something slightly different. We'll do Firestarter, Heavy Firepower, Diverse Arsenal, and Incapacitate target for the 90% Spirit Break and the 135% Fire in Peril. Alright, now we just reload and repeat. There you go, he was dead by the second hit, so still overkill, massive overkill. Now this one's easy because EXDeath has so much innate beast killer. On some of the other ones, like the Fort Vorn in particular, is just a little bit tricky because he doesn't have any innate machine killers, and machine killers kind of hard to build. Plus Fort Vorn throws like a Reaper there in the middle of everything, so yeah, it's kind of a pain. But there's your all missions clear of Omega Spawn Rush. Let's do the Looming Wall next. Alright, so we're going to get in there. I'm not going to bother showing you the gear. I will show you there's that party of 4 or less, so you'll see that for the next, for these next 3 chambers with a party of 4 or less. Clear within 5 turns, too easy. We're going to FTKO. All you got to do is just switch the Esper. You could use Golem or Kokuryu, whichever one has the full 125% Stone Killer maxed out. So if you haven't like maxed out your Kokuryu, for example, but you have Golem, just make sure you're using the right one. But both of those have 125% Stone Killer if you've maxed them out. So I'm just going to put on Kokuryu. Should be good to go. Let's get in there. So this is one of the times where Bulwark will come in handy with the imbues. So the Demon Wall is weak to wind, so we are going to use the wind imbue from Bulwark on this one. All right, Tempest Tempo, and then Moogly Mixtape for the buffs. Louise we'll just do, we're not going to do any like fire imbues or anything like that, so we'll do Tactical Armor, we'll do the Diverse Arsenal for the killers, Power Boost, and then Incapacitate target for the 90% Spirit Break. And this should be more than enough to obliterate the Demon Wall. Now we just reload, repeat. Yep, again, dead on the second hit. All too easy. right. And we don't need to look at damage details. I think it's obvious that EXDeath is carrying the fight on all of these, so we're not going to bother looking at any damage reports. All right, so now Fort Vorn. This is probably the trickiest one, I would say. And it has 4 waves. Oh, out of energy already. So it's got 4 waves, which can be a little bit tricky when using, you know, Bulwark to refill the MP. But again, look, there is no items mission, and in fact, we will use an elixir on this one, just because Bulwark doesn't have that refill. Okay, so we're still going to get away with everything else, no problem. Okay, everything should be pretty much an FTKO. I did have a couple of test runs where like one of the arms was still alive on the final stage, but that's okay. You just reload, repeat, and kill the final arm at the end. It's not a big deal. All right, so in this one, we're going to use Bahamut. All right, because we have machines. So machines are the majority of the fights here, and then the wave 3, there's a Reaper, there's an undead, and that just, you know, I love it when they just throw like a random different boss type in the middle of the waves. But Bahamut Esper will give us the Reaper and Machine Killer, and then Louise will help with 50% to each of those as well. So he's only going to have 50% to those 2 killers. Yeah, you see 50% Machine, 50% Reaper. That's all right. If you wanted to, you could slot in, like this is the fight that Golbez is probably better suited for, because Golbez has innate Reaper killers. So then you can just focus on Machine Killers and really like wipe the floor with this one. But I'm lazy. We're going to stick with the same team. I said we were going to have one team to rule them all, and we're going to do it. All right, we're going to stick with it. Okay, so on this one, I'm actually going to start... No, I'll keep them there. All right, so this is the one where we might use the Darkbreaker materia near the end to make sure we kill all the arms on that one, and that should do it for us. All right, well, let's go ahead and just get in there. All right, so we're going to go back to the sort of same pattern that Louise did before with Firestarter. All right. Heavy firepower, diverse arsenal, and power boost. Okay, remember, cooldown abilities reset for each wave, but Magnuses do not. All right, so you got to save your Magnus for the last battle. Okay, she'll go ahead and do that. ExDeath is going to do Meteor. I'm going to go ahead and set up Bulwark with an elixir on ExDeath. And what's going to happen is I'm going to tap ExDeath. As soon as I see the MP go down, I'm going to tap Bulwark and then Biggs and Wedge. All right, and we're basically going to reload and repeat. Make sure you target. It should auto target the big one on the bottom. You just want to make sure that one gets the stronger Imperil from Louise. On the which one is it? It does that. It's the heavy firepower. It does a higher fire Imperil, and so you just want to make sure that boss gets the higher fire Imperil. All right. The others are weak and they should die. No problem. But we're basically just going to do the exact same thing that we did. Okay, so we'll start Louise, make sure all of her actions are done. All right, and then we'll do ExDeath, and then we'll do Bulwark as soon as we see that MP go down. Okay. As good as dead. All right, Abfall. All right, this is the one that screwed me the first time I ran through this one. All right, we are going to. Let me just double check. I think he's already got a mag buff, so he doesn't even need it. So we're just going to reload and repeat this one. Okay. Again, make sure you target Abfall so that he gets the higher fire and peril from Louise. Alright, and again, tap EXDeath. There we go. All right. So this time we're gonna shift Bulwark out, and we're gonna do the Dark Breaker here. That way the arms have the 85% Spirit Break, and that will just ensure that both of the arms die. Like I said, I had a couple test runs where like one of the arms was left alive with like 5% HP, and so I figured the Dark Breaker would help make sure that everybody dies, because the body is of course going to get the 90% Spirit Break from Louise. So we'll do Firestarter, Diverse Arsenal for the killers, Heavy Firepower, and Incapacitate Target, and make sure you're targeting the body. Grossenschlag, not the right arm or left arm. Okay, the Dark Breaker, or the Breaker materials, are AoE, so you don't have to worry about targeting for those. But for the Incapacitate Target, you definitely got to make sure the body is targeted. All right, and now we'll just reload, repeat. All right, very nice. They all died that time. That's what I suspected. So if you don't have the breaker materials, there's a chance one of them stays alive, and then all you have to do is just another elixir, reload, repeat, kill the arm. All right, it's not a big deal. The arm doesn't do anything that's really going to be too dangerous. Okay, I think it does some single target physical attacks. Not a problem. Okay. All right, so that's for Vorn. All right, Behold the Dark Calamity. This one should be very easy for ExDeath because it's another beast. Weak to dark, so that's why Bulwark's here. All right, and so we'll just get in here. This should be another easy FTKO. We'll swap the killers again to Ifrit to make sure that ExDeath is capped on his beast killers, and we should be good to go. All right, let's do it. All right, so on this one, we want to make sure we don't accidentally imbue with fire. So Louise will do heavy firepower. Actually, no, sorry, not heavy firepower. What am I doing? Diverse Arsenal for the killers, tactical armor, power boost, and incapacitate for the 90% spirit break. Okay, so that's really, she's just applying killers and spirit break on this one. Bulwark is going to do double duty with the Dark Imbue, Imperil, Amp, and... oh, never mind. He doesn't have Beast Killers. Never mind. So that's all he has to do, and then we'll just do Moving Mixtape for the boss. All right. And this one should just wipe the floor with the Behemoth. There you go. Another easy clear. Easy peasy. All right, so that's the last of the 4-man dungeons. So we've made our way to the last one, which is Dark Rain, the Enigmatic Assailant. Okay, so that's the final dungeon. Unfortunately, this one doesn't hand out 3,000 lapis, but you still get an STMR removal, which is, you know, kind of worth it, I guess. So Dark Rain is a demon human, so it's a dual race, weak to light. All you have to do is get him below 50%, and then he runs away. That's all you have to do. You cannot kill him. He hard locks at 49%. So just, you know, just go in, hit the HP lock, and he will run away, and you will win the battle. Okay? So like I said, for this one, we're going to bring in Sylvie. I should have her. There she is. Yep, should be near the top. So there's my Sylvie. She's going to provide our light imbue, imperil, amps, everything we need for this one. And then Bulwark will provide some demon killers. He's got that in his kit. Louise will provide the 50% human killers, and we should be good to go. So we just got to change our Esper to Diabolos, who does 125% to both human and demon. So that will max out your EXDeath's human killer, and then give him 125 demon. But that's okay because Bulwark's going to provide 150 with the buff. And it should be enough to at least get us close to the 50% on turn 1, and then we'll finish the rest of the job on turn 2. All right, shouldn't be a problem at all. So let's go ahead and get in here. All right, so Louise is just gonna do we'll do diverse arsenal for the killers, tactical armor, or power boost, and incapacitate target. All right, Sylvie will triple cast Glitter Egg, hop into battle on EXDeath, and then all eggs on one basket on EXDeath. That does a 30% light amp. All right. Bulwark will just do, I think all he really needs to do here is his demon killer. Yeah, he's not imbuing anybody. We've already got the buffs, so let's just do the demon killer. Yeah, no, all we need is demon killer. All right, so I might kill him on this turn, and if that happens, great. If not, if I come up short, then what's going to happen is he's going to do a single target Dark Imperil on Bulwark, and then start doing some dark magic damage, both single target and AoE. But don't worry, Biggs and Wedge are going to jump out in front and cover it. They're fully dark immune. They won't be imperiled, so they will resist everything. And then, yeah, then you can just literally reset and reload, repeat, do another meteor, and finish the job. Just remember that there is a no items mission on this one, and so that's why Bulwark will come in handy with his 100% MP fill ability. All right, so let's see how we do. Maybe I go ahead and push the threshold. That would be great. All right, there we go. And yeah, he says, "How you entertain me, ha ha ha," and runs away. All right, ends the battle. Very good. Yeah, like I said, if you come up short, just have Bulwark refill the MP, reload, repeat. All right, and yeah, that's how you clear out the Fighting Back Memories the Fighting Back Memories event. Very exciting, I guess. Exciting for newer players. Like I said, if you're a new player, you haven't done those chambers, definitely get in there, rake in that lapis. That is like a ton of lapis you can get in just one banner. That's really awesome for new players. So I'm very excited for you guys that haven't done these yet, and get in there and just like watch your lapis count go through the roof. Very nice. If you saw my Friends in the Making video earlier, that one's kind of a joke. You know, you can use basically any of the units, the restricted units, and it's very easy to get that one done. All right, so that's pretty much it for now. You know, the Dark Visions, I'm going to wait until the final chambers open. The early stages are all pretty much a joke as usual. The only difference being the one stage that is magic only. So they have started doing these bosses that are completely immune. So the magical domain of lightning, earth, and light. These are all completely immune to physical damage. So you cannot bring physical damage units in here. So that means like meteor users like ExDeath and Golbez are not going to work. So you got to bring in pure mages to do this one. But for the other three, so like the first two, you can still use physical on everything. The The 4th stage, you can use physical teams. I usually just use my physical teams to go in there and FTKO everything. So I was a little annoyed that I had to change out that one team for the magical domain, but I ended up just using Tsukiko because it's weak to Earth. And so that was pretty easy. It's also weak to light, so you could bring in like Yuna and have Yuna cap a chain. As long as you have enough people to chain light, you know, light element, like magic users, to do that, then that's fine. And just have Yuna drop her Brave Shifted LB, which is a light elemental evoke. Evoke damage does work, and so that's another option you can use against this one. All right, but that's it for now. You know, when the final stages to Dark Visions open up, I'll see what I can come up with for a team on the final bosses and get that out to you next week, because there's not much else going on. So stay tuned, and next week I'll start, you know, putting out a little bit more content for you guys. So I will see you guys on the other side.